Here we go. We are live. Hello and welcome, everybody. This is Joe from Startuprad.io, your startup podcast and YouTube blog. This time, it's very special for Christian and me because it's the first time we actually do our news recording live here. As you can see, I'm already in the Christmas mood in the back with a little Christmas tree. Hey, Chris, how's New York doing?
Very good. I'm pointing at my Christmas tree kind of thing. Anyway,
Very creative. Love it.
yeah. You
Yeah.
can buy everything. It's New York. Yes, apart from that, I'm doing very well. Thank you. Happy to try out new things and see how it goes today.
Great. Let me quickly check here. There's actually you guys may know there is a meetup where we announce our live hangouts, and I'm right now in the process of logging me in and sharing the live link with this event so everybody can find us. Let's see here. Yeah, that's fine. We are live here. Let's see, maybe we get a viewer or two. That would be just awesome. As everybody knows, Christian is live in New York. You actually live in Manhattan, right?
Yes, and the sun came up today. It looks very crisp outside here. Yeah, 95th and 3rd, so a bit away from the startup mess in Brooklyn or Midtown. But yeah, for 5 years now in New York and writing about startups from time to time, dealing with innovation in the city, and yeah, therefore part of Startup Radio.
Awesome, great. We love you here, especially that you only podcast with warm socks. Actually, are you also wearing a Christmas sweater? We talked about it before we went live.
Me? I have a super blue navy sweater from Everlane, clothing startup. There you go. At least I'm on brand.
Awesome. Let's go with the startup news of December 2018. This recording is in media cooperation with the Gründermetropole Berlin. Sponsoring message: Startups.observer supports this program. Startups.observer is like online dating for startups, investors, and corporates. It is by far the most easiest and efficient way to research potential investment candidates, innovation cooperators, or look for potential investors. Learn more here at startups.observer. And Christian, I do believe you put something into the ecosystem.
Yes. So in general, I mean, for the gazillions of people who will join us now for the first time since we're actually doing this live, in general, we always try to give.
Oh, Christian, you see, we got a viewer. We got a viewer. Hey, there's someone.
Yeah, so you have to know it's very interesting for us because we're only trying it. So in general, a very warm welcome to all the new viewers. We try to give you an overview of what happened within the past month in the German startup world. And usually it's a lot about exits and new investments, but this time around also the German startup world had kind of a scandal, I would say. So there is this guy, well, at least it was like it blew up a bit, let's say. And usually German startup world, at least on the official channels, on the official news websites, is not that juicy. So, but this time around, Sebastian Diemer made a difference. He's a serial founder, which calls himself also only the Diemer. And right now, his biggest hope is Pharmaco, a cannabis startup. And he wrote a lengthy Facebook blog post why he has headed with Berlin. So, for example, one thing he wrote, I'm quoting, is, "I'm not a fan of hipsters, excessive feminism, so I'm looking forward to more conservative roles, men that act and look like men, vice versa for the ladies." And he also adds about Berlin, well, one thing he doesn't like is, quote, "drugs and party. If you have never taken cocaine or any other chemical drugs like myself and don't attend the Berlin clubs, I haven't made it to any of the trashy, druggy places in 2.5 years. There isn't much value in having 2,147,124 places around that allow you to party from Wednesday to Tuesday with fucked up people in fucked up locations. So it's kind of a weird, kind of a misogynist thing. So if you want to look him up further, his name is Sebastian Diemer, Diemer. And that's just how they roll in Berlin.
He was one of the founders of the now Berlin-based FinTech CreditTech. We'll talk about
Ah,
it below.
yeah.
It used to be, I already taking some news up front here. It used to be the most valuable FinTech startup in Germany, but it is not anymore. But let us first stick to the ecosystem. First German social entrepreneur monitor has been published. The social startups are spread across Germany. As we always say, Germany has a history of federation. 22% of them are located in Berlin, 90% in Hessen, where Christian is also originally from, 15.4% in Bavaria. Then there's North Rhine-Westphalia, 9.4%, which has the biggest population, surprisingly. And Baden-Württemberg, you guys may know Stuttgart, the city of Porsche and Daimler, just 8.5%. Biggest trouble is financing. Also, the German fintech market matures, writes Ian Y. Ernst& Young. Higher investments, more international expansion, and increasing number of corporations, meaning with banks and also between the different fintechs.
Adding to FinTech, the FinTech Revolut received an EU banking license, writes Finance Magnates. And there's a study of Comdirect, also a German bank, which shows that Berlin, Munich, and Frankfurt are the leading fintech hubs in Germany. And all those international fintechs active in Frankfurt who want to work with German banks, definitely a hub there. And also notice that there is only an access to international capital markets in Frankfurt, actually. A lot of people just look at Berlin, but if you tuned in to find out a bit more about how Germany works, then definitely Frankfurt is worth a look for as opposed to Berlin.
And we did actually a few days ago, we did the German FinTech Finance Review, which was also structured as a Google Hangout, but actually was not done live because I did it with Paolo Cerroni, a global FinTech thought leader from IBM, and Yasin Hankir, CEO and co-founder of the crypto startup SafeTroid, which also does micro savings. So it's in between savings, crypto, and the usual fintech. He said some competition is good, but it does really matter that the fintechs are located in Germany. I totally go along with him. Publication of this will be 3:30 on the 25th of December German time, or 9:30 a.m. New York time. European tech firms have raised a record of 23 billion US dollars in 2018. That's part of the State of the European Tech report, written by tech.eu. Also, what I found, mood on the private equity markets, meaning all markets which are not public equity, meaning everything PE, illiquid venture capital, and so on, are quite good, says KfW, which is the Kreditanstalt für Wiederaufbau, which is actually a institution in Germany that actually supports many political goals with money actually back from the Marshall Fund after the Second World War. On only early stage investments and later stage investments see a slight bumper, and fundraising and exit environment is actually picking up. There is also media partnership.
Just one thing there.
Go ahead.
Interesting that everyone's right now talking about the problems we see at the stock markets, and that, for example, the New York Stock Exchange lost so much money within the last couple of weeks, but that these were at least two sources that either claimed, okay, the 2018 was not as bad as it might feel for the startups, but also that the look ahead, probably KfW having published an early indicator for what's to come in the future, looking at the mood, also look positively. So I guess that's a good sign.
Yes, it is. But you have to keep in mind something like this. actually works a little bit backwards. So meaning everything that happens in the public markets that spreads into the private markets actually takes more time. So maybe the first quarter of next year will be bad just due to the events
Yeah,
we're just going through.
and it's all a bit of an oracle, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it always is. If you can forecast markets, go make your money. You'll never need to work again. Media partnerships. We've been reached out and we agreed to be media partners of techjobsfair.com in April 2019 in Berlin, in May 2019 in Vienna. Housekeeping. We have published a lot of videos in the last weeks. Just to name a few, we talked to the winner of the Blockchain Startup Summit, Thomas Müller, not the famous soccer player, and to the FinTech and banking lead at Google Germany, and many others. Check out our channel just here, youtube.com/startupradio. Also, there's a very nice interview I did with Summarize Bot. It's actually an AI for automated summaries of text, video, and audio. It's a very cool thing, and it was part of the Content Shift Accelerator program of the Börsenverein des deutschen Buchhandels, which is the German Association of Book Publishers and printers. And the last housekeeping, Andreas König will be new CEO of Brokelove, a Munich-based startup. We actually talked to those guys when we've been in May this year in New York, because they are also part of the, at this time, current accelerator batch at the German Accelerator Tech in New York. Here we go. Sorry.
Yeah. So let's move on probably to Frankfurt a bit, shall we?
Yes, I love Frankfurt. The only problem of Frankfurt is they're really bad in marketing. WeWork Labs actually starts here in Frankfurt, and there will be a very big WeWork location as well, newly here in Frankfurt.
Then Asana, which is a you could probably say productivity
Yes, I
service.
use it for my to-do lists.
Yeah, I'm more of a Trello guy, but I think Asana does a better job probably for teams. So Asana will also plans to expand to Frankfurt, even building their European data center there, which should already start in the first half of 2019. They claim Frankfurt would be their ideal location.
Yes, and both article been by Station Frankfurt, which used to be Rhein-Main Startups, but actually they merged with some other local events, and now they are called Station Frankfurt. Frankfurt-based prop tech co-living startup Homefully raised an undisclosed amount of venture capital from Holzbrink Ventures and RuNet.
And as every good startup, this is Homefully without an E. Homefully.
Homefully. I'm so sorry.
No, it's not. You just forgot it in the show notes. Okay, much better. No, yeah, okay.
And the bespoken Sebastian Diemer, they raised their first venture capital investment for the cannabis startup.
Pharmaco, there he is again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there is another article related to it, known as Sebastian Diemer, known as ousted co-founder of Germany's most valuable fintech startup CreditTech. Currently, 3 different companies complain he has stolen their ideas, according to an article in Gründerszene.
He's everywhere today. Like he was complaining about Berlin and all this. Anyway, Deutsche Familienversicherung, which is a direct insurance company, meaning online, which sees itself as an insurtech, just successfully IPO'd in Frankfurt, and thereby raising more than 50 million euros, all the while doing it.
As you guys know, we keep this federative tradition in Germany alive, since we always point out a few spots that we see startup activity, and we want you to remember that not everything is focused on Berlin. I do remember that we actually once had the raising of a startup fund in Ostwestfalen-Lippe. You remember?
Yes. It's
Yes.
a nice area. It feels very close to the area where I'm from, Northern Hesse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an area where I think you get great values, but also you want to get out of there.
Getting into more local startup news, Cologne, German on-demand staffing startup ZenJob raised 15 million euros, writes tech.eu.
And in an even smaller city, Chemnitz, Staffbase, a startup based there, enables companies on their platform to build apps for their employees. Actually, it does pretty great and only used 1.3 million euros of a 10 million venture capital fund that they have raised. So they seem to be on the structured and even bootstrap side of things. So probably an interesting startup to have a look at and learn some lessons from. Staffbase, that's the name.
And finally, the city every American associates with the Germany, it's Munich. They are also doing pretty good as a startup hub. We found three large VC rounds we decided to take into our startup news. FitLab, Causeway Media Partners, Jazz Venture Partners, Courtside Ventures, Elysian Park Ventures, and Ward Invest 40 million euros venture capital in Munich-based fitness app Freeletics. I actually tried it once and it's so tough. I instantly gave up. Munich-based Fineway raises an additional 6 million for its hyper-personalized AI-based travel service. And Indinvest Partners invest 7 million euros in Munich-based telemedicine startup Teleclinic.
Moving on from our overview to the startup cities and hubs to companies and getting back again to, by now you should guess it, Sebastian Diemer, because he is one of the guys behind CreditTech. But there is now a serious financial situation at what was once Germany's most valuable FinTech. It's based in Hamburg, and with the last financing round, the valuation went from 230 million euros down to 14 million euros. More about that can be found at a report on Gründerszene.de. By the way, as always, a little disclosure there. Gründerszene.de, a website that I am also working for.
Yes, and I do believe Sebastian Diemer was one of the founders of CreditTech, but has no more active role in it. And it's very worrisome if you have once been the most valuable fintech, and then your valuation goes down only to the amount of money the investors put in. That's really tough. Venture capital rounds, I'll just rattle through them here that we aggregated. Berlin-based fintech RatePay gets 83 million euros venture capital as venture debt, meaning a credit from NIBC Bank. Berlin-based startup Contentful raises 29.5 million in a Series D for its modern content delivery infrastructure. Signal Iduna, which is an insurance company, Finleap, the company builder, England Focus Capital, which is something in Germany like Sotheby's real estate. They're very fancy. SBI Investments, SBI Insurance, and Alma Mundi Ventures invest altogether 23 million euros venture capital in Berlin-based tech company Element. The startup was founded in March 2017 and offers B2B to X tech platforms. LeanIX, the Bonn, Germany-based software as a service that lets enterprises map out their software architecture, closes 30 million euros Series C. Hightech Gründerfonds and Technologiegründerfonds Sachsen, meaning the venture capital fund of the state of Saxon of Germany invest together an undisclosed amount of venture capital in Dresden-based startup De Novo Matrix. The startup helps to grow human stem cells.
Which I think is a thing in Dresden anyway, right? It's a hub for this. I mean, it's very IT or high tech heavy there, but
Yeah,
more like on the hardware side of things, right?
yeah, like the STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics guys are setting up their companies there. We go a little bit to Switzerland, Lausanne-based AgTech, mean agriculture tech startup AgroSustain secures 1 million euros funding for its innovative product that will decrease food waste. And Deutsche Startups.de finally lists all venture capital investments of the founders of Berlin-based SumUp. Karobi, Comtravo, Creative AI, Discando, Flaschenpost.de, i2x, Orda, Vermietet.de, and ZenJobs. Whew, the simple startup names are out. Sorry, guys.
Another thing that probably in Germany is a bit more, happens in Germany probably a bit more than in other places is corporations having a venture capital arm. And it even goes down to Katjes, which is a company producing candy, probably a bit like Haribo. If you're from abroad, you might have heard from the Gold Bears more, and Katjes does similar things. They have Katjes Green Food. We took over 2 of its portfolio startups in crisis, reports Gründerszene. And KT is no more permitted to sell its drinks due to new regulations. Hemptastic has been dissolved, though.
Blockchain and crypto. There's a bloodbath going on right now in the crypto markets, or it continues to do so, even though Bitcoin didn't go below 3,000. I think approximately 1 year ago, it was close to 20,000. Nonetheless, we keep track of it because there may or may not be a little bit over or undervaluation going on, but the technology behind is sound and interesting. And remember, guys, even though the prices of many tokens and cryptocurrencies may go to zero, also Amazon and Google been part of the .com boom and bust. So there should be some value out there. Bitlava, blockchain banking starts in Germany. Solaris Bank and crypto startup Bitlava offer a new blockchain account in Germany, including crypto debit card. Christian, your favorite corner?
Rocket Internet. Just to clarify the last thing, it's called Bitvala.
Bitvala.
No, we had both versions now, but Bitvala, that's the name. Bitwala.
Oh, and if you want to see something after the live stream, you go down here into the show notes. There will be a link to our website that will actually go live after the hangout, and we'll have all the show notes here so you can read through everything we just said and look for the names and, of course, make up your own proper pronunciation.
Now, actually coming back to Rocket Internet being one of the biggest investors in Germany for startups, they have one of the companies they invested in is called Pflegetiger, so it's in care, and the Stephanos Foundation has or had to rescue the insolvent company. We have some more info about that in the show notes, and the German e-commerce platform Westwing sold its Russian subsidiary to Elbrus Capital, also part of the Rocket Internet ecosystem.
Accelerators. Target, by Americans sometimes also called Target, will be joined by Germany's Metro in next year's TechStars program.
Like no one. When we look at gaming, there's a surprising number, I would say, of pretty successful German gaming development companies. One of them is, for example, Travian Games. But at least, let's say, they are probably more recognized than what actually compared to their actual success right now. So Deutsche Startup look at them a bit more. They turned a 21 million euro profit in 2009 into a roughly 2 million loss in 2016. So it's probably a company that people should keep an eye on a bit more. And we also talked about the Swedish Stillfront Group, which took over the Hamburg-based game developer Playa Games for 20 million euro, 14 of which are paid in cash, 6 million in newly issued shares. And the last of the gaming three is Playtika, which acquired the Berlin-based game studio Wuga for a rumored acquisition price of over 100 million.
all other news. This is everything we think noteworthy and doesn't fit into any other category. Flixbus, the German almost monopolist in the long distance buses, uh, offering bus transportation in several countries, is working towards its IPO, writes NGIN Mobility. They could list in 2019. German ADAC Association wants to turn the air taxi Volocopter into part of the emergency medical service in Germany. Actually, it's not everybody. ADAC is like, how is it called in the US?
AAA.
AAA, yeah, it's like a big association of car drivers. They're very important for everything automotive as an association here in Germany, and they also do run a lot of the first aid helicopters we have here in Germany. So if they want to do that, that is getting serious.
Language learning app Bubble sold 1 million US subscription this year and moves into language travel. Guess one of the biggest competitors of Duolingo, you could say, but yeah, doing quite well, seems.
Berlin-based Home2Go buys the near-death San Francisco-based Tripping in vacation rental roll-up, writes Skift.
Yeah, and with Bubble, just to add this, they are based in Berlin. Holiday homes, at least platforms to find them, are currently hot in the German startup scene. Two of the players generated big losses, though, so far. There's Holidoo, which had a 7.8 million euro loss, and Home2Go with a 13.1 million loss, according to Deutsche Startups. So it's also definitely a market which shows some growing pains right now.
Since 2011, MyToys revenue increased from 240 to 421 million euros, but losses amounted to 170 million euros, writes Deutsche Startup.io. Revenue growth just recently has only been 5.5%.
Yeah. Popcorn Loop, which was on Die Höhle der Löwen, the Lion's Den, so German's version of Shark Tank, gets a new start. They re-emerge from insolvency, and the founder buys assets and will start again.
Then we do have a little bit more complicated topic. 3D camera startup Staramba has troubles with the auditor. The auditor denies their test seal for the balance for the listed startup records criticism. The market value sunk already from 150 million to 20 million euros. The core seemed to be that the auditor BDO doesn't want to seal the the balance sheet, which is required because they have to make sure it's according to the rules and regulations, because there's not enough proof for the revenues of 2017 and the prognosis for 2018. Of course, the CEO doesn't share this view, but
sure. No, well, yeah. Another company with some bad news is Booking.com, which actually I feel as if they are around everywhere these days, and they became pretty much like a monopoly for a lot of the hotels. But they do 350 jobs in Berlin, so the Berlin office is going to be significantly smaller.
EUStartups.com made up a list of Europe's most promising esports startup, meaning gaming. This includes the German startups Dojo Madness and Streak.
And last but not least, there's Windeln.de, a German diaper seller fighting for survival. Windeln being the German word for diapers. They had to issue several profit and revenue warnings in 2018, are valued at 12.5 million euros, but now trading as penny stock.
Right, exciting commerce, right. Then we have know-how for those with vision. Also called stay ahead of the curve, right?
Totally. Which is a bit ironic if you say it after the other thing. Anyway.
No, it's just for the people who want to know more, who want to go more into that. into the depth of the material fintech advantages and costs to become a bank should central banks start issuing cyber cash. Almost every electric scooter comes from this Chinese company, and most active investors in banking automation and synergy and disruption 10 fintech trends. If you want to know more, go down here into the link in the show notes, which will be posted soon. Guys, it was a pleasure. It was our first live hangout, and I do believe we made it without any big incidents.
Yeah,
And
well,
if you ask, that was just coffee I was drinking.
you never know.
Guys, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Keep in mind now all the takeouts will go live one each day from Saturday on, and I hope you enjoy your time, and we'll meet back here end of January for the Startup News January, and we'll do a little bit looking back into 2018 and looking forward into 2019, because there was not enough published to make its own worthy live review so far. But we are working on it and get everything together. In Germany, the tradition is that you do the 2018 review and the 2019 outlook, always publications across the public holidays in Germany around Christmas, but this has not happened yet. And if you're traveling to Germany, keep in mind between, let's say, Saturday the 22nd and January 2nd, I would do believe Germany is almost shut down, so you'll only get minimum availability everywhere. Keep that in mind. Safe travels. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Christian, what's so funny about it?
No, it's true. Like the whole
Yeah.
country does shut down, and this year, given the specific dates, I think it will be 2 weeks of doing nothing for most of the people.
Just to make everybody jealous who's not from Germany, we have a public holiday on the 25th, the 26th, and January 1st. Plus, usually the employees give their employers give their employees off 24th and 31st of December.
Basically, no one will lift another finger until mid-January. Fun. Anyway, auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
Auf Wiedersehen. And remember, sharing is caring. Bye, guys.